All right. I've been wanting to expose the sacred namers for 10 years. The sacred namer cult. You've seen these before. You may not think you have seen them, and it's not what you think. They're not who you think they are, but we're about to tell you who they are. So on Facebook, they increasingly have been saying you can only use this one name, this one sacred name, or else you can't be saved. They use his name constantly in songs, in prayers. You've heard this in church, in Bible study, and on TV. They say that using this name gives you magical powers like Gandalf. That you can literally you can dwell with the spirit. You dwell with it like demon possession. That you can literally do magic tricks like Gandalf just by saying this name alone. And guess what? It's 100% historically false. And they say you can't use any other name. This is the only name. This is the name universally. It's always been his name since the beginning. A lot of people are saying that too. And it's the only name. This name is sacred, and this name is above all names. What is this name? Who is the sacred name called? Jesus. Jesus is the sacred name cult, 100%. So during his lifetime in the province of Judea, his Hebrew name was Yehoshua or Yahusha. In Aramaic, another popular language in the region, you say that name is Yeshua. In Greek, another popular language in that area at the time was Iesua. In English, what we speak, it is Joshua. Joshua is the name of the Messiah in our language. And why would that matter? Okay, so Joshua means salvation. The Father saves. It's the same exact name. Look it up. Look it up in the Hebrew. It's the exact same name that Moses' successor had, Joshua. It was a very common Hebrew name at the time. And so if we can say, if you can say Moses rather than Moshe, saying his name Joshua rather than Yehoshua or Yahushua is perfectly fine. So, but Jesus is not his name. Now, so when did the Jesus name come about? Okay, so by the way, Iesus in Greek, nope, that's false. That was part of the false name too. It's Iesua, right? From Yehoshua, from Yahusha. Yehoshua, Joshua, Yehoshua, Joshua, Yeshua, Joshua. There's an ua at the end there. So Isus and Jesus is totally wrong. Okay, so in the English language, right? English got started when Rome conquered Britain. They spoke Latin, right? And then the Vikings eventually ended up conquering Britain in 410 AD. So that's why English is Latin plus Germanic put together, right? So it was then William of Normandy of France, actually, in 1066, a Frenchman conquered England and started the modern state of England. All right, so that's where English started in the 1000s AD, right? Old English, we can't even read that, right? So 1500, you got Shakespearean English, and that's the time in where the J was invented. About 1492 was when the J was invented and added to the English language. So what does that mean? Between his birth, the Messiah's birth, and his death, and 1500 years later, no one called him Jesus. No one in the world was calling our Messiah Jesus for 1,500 years. Let that sink in. They've only been calling him Jesus for the last 500 years, and it means nothing. All Hebrew names have incredible meaning. Absolutely incredible meaning. And Jesus means absolutely nothing. Now, let me actually tell you what the name Jesus actually is. So in Revelation, if you're familiar with it, go read it if you're not. But it talks about in the end times, there will be in the end times, since Revelation was written, right? So, somewhere between 60 to 95 AD, there would be a false Messiah. They talk about false messiahs all the time. There will be the false image. The Antichrist has an image, the false image of the Messiah. And that this false image would actually have a false prophet, the Pope, who would compel the entire world to worship him. Christian is the most popular language in the world. It is the broad way that leads to destruction. The narrow way is Messianic Judaism. 1 out of 3 people on the earth are Christians. 1% are Messianic Jews. The narrow way, that's hard and few find it. The Messiah's own word. And this man would teach the false image, this false Messiah propped up by the Pope, the false prophet that would compel the whole world to worship him. He would say that he did away with the law, the man of lawlessness. That is the person that the Christians worship, that they prop up. Right? They prop up and watch blasphemy for more on that. The Father alone is God. It's not three people. It's not modalism. There's no third person feminine Kundalini spirit. The Father alone is God. The Messiah, Joshua, was 100% human. There is no third person. Christianity was the most evil, genius, satanic deception to corrupt the Hebrew biblical faith from within. what happened as soon as the disciples died in 80 AD, the new Roman converts that didn't have a background in Hebrew, they saw the Romans genocide the Jews for revolting from 66 to 73 AD, the Jewish revolt. So they saw, oh, being a Jew is bad. Being a Jew gets me killed, right? So I don't want to be Jewish. I'm not willing to die for my faith. Let's go ahead and blend the Hebrew Bible. We like a lot of the ideas in there. And with our Roman religion, that's the only way we're going to fit in with our culture. So Christianity is a Greco-Roman, polytheistic, 3 gods instead of 1, pantheistic, oh my gosh, he lives inside me, God is the molecules in the universe, that he lives inside me and we're all one, blah, 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 pantheistic, God is all, not a monotheistic religion. So Christianity left the Bible in 80 AD. See the video, Christianity, Judaism, Christianity left the Bible in 80 AD for more on that I released 2 years ago. Christianity, like Judaism, walked away from the Bible in 80 AD as soon as all the disciples were dead. And they've been using this false name ever since. And there's idols. There's idols of this false God everywhere. Like it's in the Ten Commandments, don't make idols. There's idols the cross is an idol. A lot of churches have them on the cross. If they don't, they have a picture of them up in their home. Not just the Catholics, the Eastern Orthodox, not just the Eastern Orthodox, the old-fashioned Protestant denominations do too. And so
yeah, I mean, wow, it's really a rabbit hole, but it's common knowledge that the Jesus had the same name as Joshua, Moses' successor. Even in the New Testament, when they refer to Joshua, Moses' successor, they refer to him as Joshua, even though they knowingly have the same name in Hebrew. All Greco-Roman American people know they have the same name in Hebrew, but they translated in the New Testament Joshua's name to Joshua in English, but Jesus' name to Jesus. And the purpose of this deception is to change the integrity and the identity and the nature of this man. He was a Hebrew man who was perfectly obedient. Why are we giving him a name that was so uncommon, that was so different, that didn't mean anything? So they know that Joshua conquered conquered the land of Israel for the people of God. And that's what the Messiah is going to do. So why did they change his name from that beautiful parallel? Like, this is an incented agenda, basically. And so there's a lot of variety, well, not a lot, but there is some variety amongst, the Torah observant movement. And, like some people observe Sukkot by camping, and some people go have a canopy, and some people just have a dinner. You can pronounce his name in the Hebrew way, the Aramaic way. You can pronounce it in English like Joshua, like we do. But we are not saying that the name doesn't invoke power. But the sacred namers believe it does. So the irony is that they will project and say that, no, you're sacred naming. They will twist it, right? They'll say, no, you're sacred naming. But the reality is that they think that their name is above all names when there's really only one name of above all names. And they've forgotten about him, the name of the Father.
Exactly. Yeah. The only name they say you can use is actually the only name that's wrong, that's false in their language. All those other names in all those other languages, he only has one name per language, obviously. And those are all correct. The one they insist on is completely false. It's a completely false name. They have a false image of the Messiah, and they literally teach a false gospel. Christians teach a false gospel that doesn't save. They teach a false gospel that doesn't save at all. They say there's a man that was God. You don't have to do anything. You can believe whatever you want as long as you have good feelings about the Jesus. If you literally want to rape, torture, and kill children, be our guest as long as you believe you're saved. It literally is Satan's gospel. God says, no, you can't actually. You do that, you go to hell, right? So that's Satan's gospel, right? So if you just have to believe in the Jesus, then Satan's going to heaven because he believes more than any of you have ever because he has seen him, right? The reason Satan goes to hell is because he disobeys. That's exactly why Christians go to hell as well. So, any last words, Sweetie?
That's it.
Okay, here's the thing. TikTok and Facebook are just teasers for our YouTube channel. Our ministry's on YouTube channel. YouTube is where our videos are. That's where our seminars are. Go there for the teaching, right? If you guys want discussions, clearly you have the comments off. Join us on Facebook, same name. Go to Facebook. You can chat as much as you want on there, ask questions, etc. You can send us messages, blah, blah, blah. These are just longer shorts, and then we got shorter shorts on Facebook and YouTube. But please do watch those seminars all the way through. Make sure you like. It's easy to forget. Please do like those. Watch them all the way through. Doesn't count unless you watch the videos all the way through. And please do share them. YouTube's giving us no favors of sharing them out.